creating wealth, freedom, and security using real estate investing. This is Get Real Wealthy. All right, you're watching Get Real Wealthy. Let's get going. We're going to be talking about financing U.S. properties for Canadians. Yes, I got a lot of great feedback on that previous episode, and we're going to talk more about financing from the Canadian perspective. So, why is financing important? Well, I can tell you that in order to increase the yield of any real estate investment, you need good financing. Financing allows you to take something that was yielding maybe single digits and make it yield, double digits. So what I mean is, let's say I was to buy a property in Tampa, and I was going to, pay $200,000 for that property, and I was going to get $1,500 a month in rent. If I was to do that and I didn't have a mortgage on the property, I would be getting a yield of, let's say, after my expenses, $1,000 a month. Now that means I had to put $200,000 to make $1,000 a month. So that means I would be getting $12,000 a year or 6% yield, okay? Now, if I had financing on that property, and let's say I was able to put, let's say 25% down. So I was able to put 25% down, but now the mortgage amount that I was paying was $600, but I was making a profit of $400 per month. Now, $400 per month times the number of months there are, so let's say that's 4,800, maybe round it to $5,000. Now, if I had to put $50,000 down, my yield is higher. So now for $5,000, I put $50,000 down, I'm getting a higher yield on that money. So that I'm getting more like 10%. Now, I'm also getting mortgage pay down, so I'm paying down the mortgage and I'm getting that on top of the appreciation that's part of investing in real estate. That's why mortgages are the power tool of real estate investing. Having great financing is important. It's a power tool, and if you leverage it appropriately, it can make you very wealthy. You're doing basically what governments are doing. Governments are borrowing money, and they are using it to be able to invest in infrastructure, in people, in things that they think are going to help the GDP of the economy. And you can do the same thing by investing in assets that you think are going to continue to pay you years and decades to come. So we want to make sure that you understand that returns are going to be related also to how well and how much financing you're going to be able to get. Okay? And as a Canadian going down into the US, you are a foreign national. They don't know you. They don't have your credit history. So there are different things that you can do to help you. Number one, there are Canadian banks in the US. And that does mean that, for example, you can find Scotiabank in the US, you can find CIBC in the US, you can find RBC in the US. What that often means is that you can get one mortgage maybe as a vacation property through that bank, but it isn't a great way to be able to build a portfolio of properties. So it can be a bit of a challenge. There are credit unions that you can find that are in Canada, that are in the US, and they are in specific states that you can utilize to be able to help you to purchase properties. It takes a lot of effort to be able to find them and to work with them, and it will often depend on what your portfolio at home looks like. So that can be challenging depending on the size of your investment portfolio. Another approach that you can use is foreign national programs that mortgage brokers in the US have. Oftentimes this means that you can go up to 60% loan to value, your interest rates are much higher, and let's say interest rates today are 3%, you'd probably be paying 7% as a foreign national. So that can be a bit of a challenge. But as long as the numbers work and you're able to utilize that leverage, remember you're still able to get that return and yield, it makes sense. Another approach would be using a portfolio loan. So let's say you have some money, you maybe buy 4 or 5 properties in the US cash, then you go to a lender in the US, a US lender that will give you a portfolio loan. They will put a mortgage behind all 4 of those properties with one charge, especially if you have multiple properties that are smaller. Usually they'll have like a minimum loan size, let's say $250,000 or $300,000. They'll do that and they'll give you a portfolio loan. There are some challenges with that, especially if you wanted to sell one of those properties in the portfolio. It becomes expensive and a real pain. May not be the type of thing that you want to do. But if you're okay with having all of them together and perhaps selling them together if you were going to sell them at the same time, or whatever it is, just remember having a portfolio loan is difficult. Another option, maybe you partner with a U.S. citizen. Maybe you have a friend that's a U.S. citizen, or maybe that you go down and you're developing those relationships and you end up working with a particular U.S. citizen and have them qualify on the property for you. You can bring the funds and then you still get the deal done. Another option is becoming a limited partner in a general partnership. It's one of the strategies that I'm using down there. It allows me to invest in larger multifamily projects, but I have a tax structure for investing in the U.S. that helps me avoid double taxation. If there is double taxation happening, it's not worth it. So it's important that you talk to your accountant and a cross-border specialist to help you to set up your corporation that makes the most sense for you. If you want to reach out to me and find out what I'm doing in the U.S. and perhaps seeing how I can help you, you can reach out to me on Instagram at QManREI. You can email me at Quentin@getrealwealthy.com. And I hope to hear from you and what you're doing in the U.S. And I hope you got some good insights and tips about financing U.S. properties as a Canadian. All right, get out there, get that next property done, and we'll see you on the next episode of Get Real Wealthy. Make sure to check out getrealwealthy.com. Until next time, I'm Quentin D'Souza. Get out there and take action. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are provided for information purposes only and should not be construed as an offer to buy or sell any securities or to make or consider any investment or course of action. For more information, go to getrealwealthy.com.